What's going on, guys? This is Chandler Smith, and I am so pumped about this video because we just finished developing an app where you can download the app and run the numbers on any investment property in under 60 seconds. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to download the app and how to run the numbers on an investment property so you can make sure that you're getting a killer deal. So with that being said, let's jump into it. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Chandler Smith, and I love running the numbers on investment properties. And I think this is one of the most important things you need to learn, because if the numbers don't work, you should not purchase that investment property. Now, with years of investing and running the numbers on multiple properties, buying some and rejecting a lot of them, I came to find that it was a pain in the butt to have to go home and use my rental calculator on my computer. I made that calculator available for everyone. However, you still had to use your computer and it was kind of glitchy on your phone. I decided to hop on the App Store and see if maybe there was a better app that I could send to everyone that watches these videos and say, hey, this app is just like my Excel sheet that I gave you, except you can use it on your phone, because it's a major pain to be at a property and have to say, man, I can't run the numbers right now. I've got a guesstimate, but I'm gonna have to go home, run the numbers on my computer, and then decide if it's a good deal. I wanted something that right there on the spot, I could run the numbers and say, hey, it's a done deal. I want this property. I decided we needed to develop an app for me and for everyone that watches these videos so that within 60 seconds you could plug in all of the inputs and get a result on your cash on cash return, on your cap rate, and on all of the other numbers that you want to know so you could decide if purchasing this property would be a good deal. So that's what we did. Now, within this video, I'm literally gonna show you how to run all the numbers so that you can do it within 60 seconds and know if the property you're looking at is something you should buy or pass on. Now, the first thing I wanna show you is how to download the app. You're gonna go into the App Store and you're gonna plug in CDS Rental Calculator. Right away, we pull up as the second one. So CDS Rental Calculator, you're going to push the download button and within a couple seconds, it's downloaded to your phone. Now, as you can see, there are only 15 inputs on this main page, and those are the only inputs that you need to run the numbers on an investment property. And I'm gonna talk about each of them, but what's so cool about this app is once you plug in those 15 inputs and you press send, immediately it's going to give you your cash on cash return, your cap rate, and a bunch of other things. For this example, I'm actually gonna use a property I purchased 2 months ago. It's actually this duplex, and I'm gonna show you all of the numbers I looked at that time to determine that this property was worth purchasing. The first input that you've got is the purchase price. Now, the purchase price on this property was $140,000. Now, after walking through this property, I recognized I needed just a little bit of cleanup. So I needed to clean up the area. I also needed to fix a vanity and do a couple other little touch-up things. And so I probably only ended up spending a couple $100, but in the calculator, I plugged in $1,000 for renovations. Now, I like being on the top end so I can make sure even if I run into other issues that my return is still gonna be where I need it to be. The next one is the down payment. Now, depending on the loan you're getting, you'll have different down payments. This works whether you're gonna use a 3.5% down or a 5% down if you're gonna be living in the property and you use an FHA loan or some other kind of loan. However, for me, I put a 25% down payment on this property. So I'm just gonna plug in 25%. Then on closing costs, I was able to negotiate with the seller to get them to cover all of my closing costs. However, you can put in the percentage of the closing costs. And what's really cool is you can see below here that it's gonna pull up the amount. So under down payment, it now shows $35,000. Under closing costs, if I put in 2% and I pushed enter, it shows $2,100. However, we're gonna delete that and we're gonna leave it at just 0. The next one is your years to pay off. Now, for this property, I'm getting a 30-year fixed loan. So I'm gonna plug in 30 years and my interest rate was at 4%. Right now in this current market, you can do even better than 4%, but 2 months ago, that's where the market was at. So we're gonna plug in 4%. Now what's really cool about this is that's all of the initial information you need. Now we're gonna jump down to the monthly income. And what's cool about this app is you can change any of these numbers. So once you press submit, all you've got to do is go back to this page and edit them, and you can press submit again, and it's not going to delete the previous numbers you had unless you delete them and put in new inputs. But once you put in new inputs, you just click send again, and it's going to give you the new return. So it's super simple to bounce back and forth and compare different things. So under rents, if you have where you think rents will be and where they currently are, you can plug in where they currently are, press send, see what the return is, and then plug in where you think they're gonna be and press send. And within literally 10 seconds, you can see the difference of that return, which was one of those things I really wanted this app to have so that it's easy to use. So with this property, I knew the rents would be at $1,400 or more. So under rents, we're just gonna plug in $1,400. This utilities section is something you don't wanna get confused in. This is the monthly income section. So if you were charging someone an additional utility for something you are doing, then it's going to be profitable for you. That's why it's in the income section. There is another tab below for the utilities that you are paying or that you're losing. And you wanna make sure you don't mix those up. It should be pretty simple because one of them has the negative sign brackets where the other doesn't. So for instance, if they have a pet fee every single month of $25, you could plug that in as a utility because that's extra rents that you're collecting. On this property, we didn't have anything like that. So the utilities we're just gonna leave as 0. The next one is your vacancy. Now, I always run vacancy at 6%. So by plugging in a 6% vacancy, I think that's pretty fair. If you're living in an area that it's harder to fill, you can do more. If you always keep it filled, you can take that off, but that gives you an accurate number. And I think 6% is a great place to run that. And you can see that a 6% vacancy is going to take away $1,008 worth of rents that you would have had you not had that vacancy, which is another cool feature right here next to it. Now we're gonna jump down to our yearly expenses. So any of your income should have been entered from your tenants. Now you're into your expenses. When it comes to maintenance, your maintenance expense is going to include any kind of maintenance that you're planning on. So a lot of times I'll set aside expense for when the water heater is gonna go out, when I'm gonna have to change the roof, just general little fixes I'm gonna have to take care of. And I've come to find that on this property, 12% is where I want to run my expenses. And that's usually what I use. Now, if you have a newer property with brand new stuff, you should still set aside money, but maybe you could lower the expense a little bit. If you're in a really old property where you know a lot of the stuff is about to go, maybe you want to set aside higher expenses, but you can decide what works best for you. And historically, I've been able to see over the last 6 years, my expenses overall always have come in below 12%. So I love running it right at a 12% expense. The next tab is your management. Now with management, I'm gonna plug this in at 8%. However, some people might be paying 12, 10, 6. Wherever you are, you can plug in your management fee and see what that's gonna take out. So by charging an 8% management, that's an extra $1,263 every single year that you're paying in management. Now we're gonna jump down to utilities. Now this is if you were paying the utilities for the tenants, and I do not like paying utilities for tenants. I hate that situation, I stay away from it. So on this property, my utilities are 0. Any additional expenses or anything else you can come up with that you might have to pay for that will affect your bottom line. All of these expenses are yearly, not monthly. So if you have a monthly expense, just multiply it by 12 and you can plug it in there. The next one is your insurance. Now the insurance on this property is $320. The taxes are $1,200. That is all 15 of the inputs. So once you have all of these entered, you're gonna click Run Numbers. On this next page, you can see at the top your purchase price. You can then see the total capital required, which is the combination of your closing costs, your down payment, and any expense you had to make it rent ready. So we had that $1,000 expense and our down payment. That put us at $36,000. This is my income before taking out the mortgage expense. So we've got $11,113 $1,000,000.60. Now you can jump over and see your debt service. This is everything that's going to your loan payment. And keep in mind, that isn't all bad debt per se. A lot of it is going to your interest, but a portion of that is going to paying down your principal, which we're going to show you a little bit lower that we've also put so you can see how much principal pay down you're getting. But that is all of your expense for your mortgage. So for the year, it's $6,015.43 that I'm spending on a mortgage payment. The next box is the cash on cash return. And for this property, it's 14.16%. Now, everyone has different criteria. Some people will buy at a 10% cash on cash. Others want to hold to a 20%. If I find a good, clean property that's getting a 12% cash on cash return, then I'm jumping on it. So with this deal, I'm above my benchmark with a 14% cash on cash return. Now, some people make their decision based on the cap rate, which I don't like as much. And the reason for that is your cash on cash return takes your initial investment, which is $36,000, and it shows you what percent return you are getting on your initial investment. And that's what I care about. I want to know what my return on my initial investment is, where the cap rate more runs it on the total purchase price. What is your return based on your purchase price of the home? And so the cap rate on this is a 7.94. Some people like making a decision based on a cap rate instead of a cash on cash return. However, I think that's kind of silly because right now interest rates are so low that you can find a deal that the cap rate might not be as good as you think it should be, but if you can capitalize on a great interest rate and great terms for your loan, then your cash on cash return can be huge. Now, you've got to decide what you want to make the determination on, but for me, if I've got a cash on cash return that's above 12%, I am ready to rock and roll. All right, this next box, I had them make a lot bigger because this is one of my favorite numbers, and that is your cash flow. And for those of you that don't know what cash flow is, it is your take home cash. All right, so after you have brought in your rents and you have paid your mortgage, your taxes, your insurance, your management, any other expenses, once all of your expenses have been taken out, this is the cash you get to take home. So this property has given me $5,098.17 of take-home cash every single year. And that brings us to the next box that I love, and that is your principal pay down. Now, when you're paying your mortgage, we treat it as expense when determining your cash flow. However, there is a portion of that mortgage that is paying down your principal. So you have more equity in your home with every mortgage payment. What we did here is we calculated your principal pay down, and the principal pay down on this is $1,849.09. Principal pay down is an additional return that you are getting on top of your cash flow. And what this is money that is taken out of your loan payment to pay down the principal on your home. So it's equity, it's money that's getting locked up in your property that whether you sell or refinance, you're gonna be able to pull that money out down the road. So this is an awesome number because it's money that is yours that's locked away in the bank account that is your property. So that's why we added that in there as well. So your cash flow plus your principal pay down ends up giving you $6,947.26 as your total return on investment, which gives you a 19.3% return. Now in my other calculator, we included the tax benefits as well, but I wanted to keep this simple so you could see your for sure return just with your principal pay down and with your cash flow every single month. Now, that's how you use the calculator. That's the breakdown from the first page of putting the inputs and then seeing the returns so you can decide if it's worth purchasing. And for me, it did because it was above that 12% benchmark that I want to reach in cash on cash return. And so I bought it. I could have ended the app there, but I wanted to add one more really cool feature, and that was the amortization schedule. So if you click on that button down at the bottom, this is going to show you your full amortization schedule. And I'm sorry, I sound really funny saying amortization schedule. Amortization schedule. Now, what's so cool about this is I linked it up to the current date. So you can see in real time, whether you do it now or a year from now, it will be set up exactly according to your current date. And what's so neat about this is in the previous page, we showed you the principal pay down, but that was just for your first year. What happens with an amortization schedule is every year that you pay, you get a bigger portion every month that's going towards principal pay down and a smaller portion that's going towards interest because you have less interest because your home is getting paid down. So we're in 2020, but if I scroll down, I can see that every single month my principal is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And that means that your return is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so you can use this to see what the amortization schedule is on your property. You can go back and change any of the inputs. You don't even have to fill out the other inputs. You can click run numbers and then see your amortization schedule, and your amortization schedule will be updated. So if you just want to see what the loan looks like without the other expenses, you can use this app to do that as well. Or you can jump back, change the inputs, and it's super simple to jump back and forth and see how it affects your loan or your amortization schedule. And so you're able to bounce back and forth and see how it affects your returns and your amortization schedule. You can see your payment amount, you can see how much of that payment is going to your interest, how much of it is going to principal, and you can see how much you still owe on your loan. And so you can use this app to check all of that stuff out and see where you're gonna be 1, 2, 5, 10 years from now on that amortization schedule. Hopefully you're as excited about this app as I am. And if you are, please hop on, download it off of the App Store, and make sure that you go and leave us a 5-star review, because I really want people to have the opportunity to see and use this app. And just so you know, I am planning on charging for this app. However, those of you that are faithful followers that are hopping on right away to watch this video, for the next month or two, I'm not going to charge. And for you, you will never get charged. So jump on and download the app immediately, because right now I'm giving it away completely free. Now, I know that there are some people that will ask, Chandler, how much did this app cost? Who developed it for you? And the guy that put it all together, his name is Tyler Fielding, and he is the man. He does app developing, web developing. He also does consulting calls if you're looking to get into that sort of thing. And you can go and check him out at www.tylerfielding.com, and he is absolutely incredible. So I'm gonna put his link in the description, and if you need help with any of that stuff, you can go check him out. The other person that helped put this all together is my brother Payton Smith and his company Payton Digital. So I'm gonna put his link in the description down at the bottom as well, and he also has a YouTube channel. So I'm gonna put all of those links if you guys wanna learn how to develop an app like this or a website. They are the best of the best, so go check them out. And again, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you push the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the future videos. Thanks guys, have a great day.